fits into both comps decently well, can play the variety.
Survive the brunt of that Mbessa early game. Fights away the big one, which is, of course, the most important, but denies some XP, as now On is walking straight into the tri-bush, just gonna face check it and die! First blood to anyone's leg.
Objectively not correct! Okay, cool, well, that kind of was the play for BLG, but they make a counter on mid.
Be in trouble as well, yeah, that's an easy kill.
They managed to blow them up, and then reset, play another slow engage, and look for another play, as he is diving first play.
Wow, right on to Bin. Underneath the tier 1 turret, Flandre does land the knock-up, but it is followed by the public execution of Bin. Void Rush comes through. Bin not going to flash away from the damage, but does make sure Flandre goes down to the final turret shot. Kill him with the Comet Spear, but now he's going to come up with the Realm Warp and make sure that none of the wave is lost.
Oh, hold on, he's ghosting aggressively. Tarzan may have to flash out here.
Gonna be okay for now. He uses the Aegis to get away from a lot of that damage from Soon. He's going to be pretty accelerated at this point in the game.
Is a bot laner to first have a full item. This Essence Reaver is basically saying, I get to infinite wave clear now, and you cannot do anything about it. So, hold on, should be going for you.
Going in. Flandre forced to flash away. Bin with that Q3, able to finish off the kill. But Tarzan is here, and he has a decent chunk of damage in his own right. But Bin follows up with the public execution. That eclipse with a lot of survivability. And in goes Shun with the flash of the wind becomes lightning. 3 talent strike, and the kill. That's 2 for nothing.
Aware after the previous play that he can avoid this as long as he dodges away from that essential ability, and will be able to TP back up top. Has the unleashed TP at this point, is going to be safe up there. Tarzan pressuring bot lane, but Knight's quite tanky.
Look at the damage Knight's able to provide underneath the turret. Kyle with the Pop Blossom. This Knight flashes away from it to make sure he does not get stunned up, but Bin comes in with the TP of his own, has the public execution, and will use it onto Shanks. Gets hit by the Rune Prison, but the Petrifying Gaze in response is going to be enough for the Mbessa to drop. So it's a 1-for-1 in this fighter on the bottom side, and Hope hasn't even arrived yet. Chain of Corruption goes wide, but now Bin looking and hunting mid lane tier 1 turret. Potentially try to cut Viper off if he goes a greedy route. Gonna get spotted out by that Scrying Orb, but it might not even matter as he is forced to cleanse. Does use the Hail of Arrows to try and slow Tarzan down, and now the Chain of Corruption has come in. Bin has come back from base, and BLG are looking to party once again, and AL are not in the right
around objectives is where they made their bread and butter in the league, and now with Rift being shut down, they are going to regroup as 4 and look to try and defend this mid lane tier 1. A very important objective for keeping map control, particularly with how it's...
Kyle using the clone to face check that brush where a lot of BLG members were in, and Tarzan opting to go forward is going to just get met here by Shun, who now has a Wild Growth on top of him. Only one gets stunned up by the Petrifying Gaze, but Shun is taken, and the Comet Spear from Tarzan will take him down. That's no jungler available here for BLG, and that is the signal for anyone's legend to go forward. Teleport comes in from Tarzan. They're going to go forward onto Viper. The Aegis keeping him alive for so long, nearly able to take the Varus down, but he will live by the slimmest of margins, and Bin has come in to clean up the rest of the fight. Flandre tap flashes in. He's able to get one back on tonight, but the Mbessa is just massive at this point in the game. Bin 1,500 gold up, 4-2-1. Looking to tear apart this Rek'Sai, and Shanks is in some danger as well. There's no ultimate available here for Bin. So
and Shun with a really nice sidestep to not get stunned up. Tarzan collects him on the end.
The fact that Knight able to clear out any wave that he chooses right now that is around the top side. And now Realm Warp is coming in underneath the tier 1 turret. Could be in danger, are anyone's legend. Kyle does not hit anybody with that Pop Blossom, and he's already down. And so is Flandre, with Bin landing a beautiful public execution. So it's the 5v3. Hope does not have the Infinity Edge yet. That is a major power spike that has not been unlocked. Bin just trying to soak up as much pressure as he can to allow his team to wear purple for the next 3 minutes, and they land a Rune Prism onto Shanks as well. Kyle has returned from the Death Realm, comparison to the rest of the map. 3 full items on this champion, nearing level 16, and AL already off to a good start as they pick off Knight and force him to use the Realm Warp defensively. That is a tool that they will no longer have at their disposal, but Shun still looking to go in. Lands that audacious charge onto Kyle, lands a knockup as well, and there's a Lulu on top of him to shut the Nico down. He dashes away from the Petrifying Gaze. Shun is popping off. He's got a triple kill here in this one, and now Flandre has teleported in, but
they can take Baron for free.
You're playing Smash and you got an extra stock. You get to play a little bit more aggressive, make sure you're able to play with your life a little bit more, and that's what Tarzan is going to force Shun to do. He has the Wild Growth on top of him now, but still in a pretty good position. Pop Blossom only finds on, and the fight now beginning in earnest with mid laners fighting around the top side of the map. Flandre on a teleport is going to find on a flank, but Tarzan is in a bad position himself, and he'll get taken down at the first casualty, and Flandre goes into the middle of a 1v5, and he's not going to like those odds one bit. He flashes on out. And now it is AL on a complete retreat underneath their own tier 2. But the Realm Warp is going to stop any sort of sense to that. Shanks goes golden, but it will deny the inevitable, as now Hope is the only one left standing around the fight. Wow, Shanks barely got away from that one. But I'd say at this point, BLG pick up their third Chemtech Dragon, and they are looking good. But they could have maybe picked off on as Tarzan went in with an Empowered Blast Cone, but it'll immediately be stymied. And Shun still going to be invulnerable at this point. The Guardian Angel has been popped. Kyle looking for another engage and does find a 2-man stun, but it will only be the Guardian Angel being popped off of Shun, and now Bin is straight into the backline, publicly executing anyone's legends right next to their own base.
Get down, get their first game in the series, but remember, they still need to close it out if they want to be going into that first spot heading into playoffs.
The hands of Shun multiple times. Flandre kind of failing on that dive early on onto Bin.
Okay.
There it is. So, this now means that
each time he queues, so yeah, he's just a bit quicker.
He's gonna get spotted here by that ward in the Tri-Brush, so Hope and Kyle know exactly what's going on. And Tarzan headed back to base, picked up a couple of items, and now is going to be here to potentially counter this dive. Hope flashed away for the Q1. The Q2 not going to find too much, and should now have to flash away. A full-on 3v3 has unlocked. Been one of his weaker champions. If you include the Demacia Cup, not actually lower than a 50% win rate. Not something that is familiar for somebody as successful in his career as Knight. Now 1-3 on it this season.
Champions we just saw there. Then it wouldn't be a conversation. But the fact that, as we all know, Azir is the mainstay of pro play. Hold on.
Oh, Bin somehow gets that all out all the way over the wall. Forces Flandre to flash away.
Like Ryze, they just get shuffled and typically die off the back of it. It's the immobile mage problem. As now, Shun, level 6, does have the lead here. I don't know if they will turn this into a fight, AL.
Yeah, even if Tarzan's able to steal the scrub, not going to be able to have that Cyclone at his disposal. He gets sent back. There is no threat of a dive anytime soon. Just still
really threaten this blue buff with that has much authority, knowing your mid laner can't come. He's still hitting it. Has the level lead at the end of the day. Ooh. Okay.
Just gonna back out. No problem there. The BLG, hey, in terms of DPS, to make that not as much of an issue, but you still want to have a little bit of threat here. As speaking of threat, Kyle gonna actually flash to land a good headbutt into Knight and pull off an Uno reverse card. Tarzan goes in with a Cyclone, and that's first. Valuable usage of your time if you do gain some information, and see some ultimates once again traded. Fate Seal, just forcing a little bit of a dash away from Knight, able to get out of that one unscathed. And now Shun and Tarzan will once again be contesting here around this topside scuttles. Tarzan does have the ultimate available once again, and so does Shun as he pops the World Ender. In he goes, not going to land that Q2, and now going to be forced to back away. Tarzan with the first proc in the Cyclone does a lot of damage. Shank dashes back over the wall, and Knight still awaiting to use the Emperor's Divide, finds it at a perfect moment to take.
Definitely a moment of peace, especially considering Flandre has not been able to pick up the full Liandry's.
Dashing in. I don't think he meant to do that. He has to now use that Emperor's Divide.
Look at each other, and Knight was the first one to blink.
And now, without having to use that Fate Seal, Shanks can go in and pick up a solo kill on Fall. Shanks ends up blast hitting it, even clear this wave out and allow for Shun to make his way towards this Herald.
Does find the recall and stop it, but it doesn't matter. Will there be a force fight here? Kyle is in a great flank.
Kyle, he has a great position for a flank, and Tarzan knows it, in with the Cyclone, and it's immediately followed up by Hope. A 2-for-0, as it's a double kill for the Kaisa, and Flandre flashes right over the Sand Soldiers and says, not today. It's a 3-for-0 in favor of AL.
Mid lane tier 1s are alive, as AL is forcing something onto Bin.
That Q3, been in a precarious situation, but he throws out the all-out, going to try to turn this 1v2. But Shanks the Soul Unbound has suddenly become very powerful, and he's able to take
of the enemy solo lane as well. With the Blade the Ruined King, yeah, Shanks card tears through that Cassandre as now BLG try to do the same to mid lane tower, but TP coming in.
Teleport coming in. It's going to be from both solo laners, and Hope going to try to slow down the bottom lane's retreat on already being taken out. And Shun is going to have to try to hop into this Rift Herald to go on a grand escape, but they break the car open before...
Baron spawning in 30 seconds. I would be scared about dying here.
In they go again. Knight throws out the Emperor's Divide, but Tarzan dives right under it like he's riding the sand. All cylinders once again. And Shanks is at the heart of that, navigating his way against Knight. And in goes Tarzan again, landing another two-man Cyclone onto Shun and on. They're surviving for a long time, but they have not had Hope arrive yet. They go with the Killer Instinct, but Viper's able to shut him down. And they get a second one on a Tarzan. Here comes BLG, and they're here with a vengeance. 4 kills down, and it's Shanks now trying to fight.
On the moment it turns, the reinforcements arrive, and AL...
Than you were able to previously.
It's a proper
Speaking
install.
of ascending, Knight might ascend up to another world, as he is going to be in a whole lot of trouble. That interaction works well when you're in a 1v1, but maybe not a 1v4, as the Killer Instinct from Hope sends
makes the game even. One more play goes wrong, and suddenly it's back into a winning spot.
Again. Nice, just the Emperor's Divide there by Knight this time, and Hope just gets assassinated straight into 4 members of BLG, and that Killer Instinct ended up killing him instead. Shanks now has to flash over the red buff wall, but he's going the wrong direction as BLG find another opening to get themselves back into this game.
3 people chasing down Shanks. He doesn't have the Baron recall. He has to fight his way if he wants any chance of survival, but it is only a matter of time until...
A Nazir shuffle, even a knockup from Cassante or Aatrox. As soon as you press your instant all in and that's your last dash, it becomes very difficult to play the rest of the game. And we're going to see that right here. Hope getting zoned out by Knight, but anyone's Legend still trying to force this fight. The headbutt in from Kyle is big, and they should be able to take this Azir down. He lives for a little bit longer, but eventually will be Hope to issue the killing blow. Bin running out of time on his all-out will be forced to flash away, and that is all going to be... The fact that BLG could have AL's number, at least so far in this season. Wonder if that will continue to be the case around this fight.
Flanger looking, Tarzan
he goes in. Really nice flash, trying to lock down Shun, who still has not burned the ultimate. Shanks has to use the Fate Seal defensively, though, and that means that Billy Gaming could now go on the attack. Bin popping that control ward over the wall to get a little bit of a sense of where AL are currently situated. And with them now going back to base, potentially, it's going to be BLG starting up the Baron and canceling the recalls of AL. Likely to get a full 5v5 unless AL are content with just allowing this objective to go down. Tarzan has the Baron at 6,000 HP, has the Guardian Angel, but is afraid to go over the wall just yet. A teleport comes in with the spellbook from Kyle. They've kept the Baron at 5,000, waiting for anyone's Legends to go in. Shanks goes with the Soul Unbound, but is now forced to tether back as Flandre has now overheated. In goes Knight. He goes for the shuffle, but everybody flashes away. And that is a big tool that is no longer at the BLG mid laner's disposal. He's burning down, and in goes Hope, but he goes golden at just the right time. And Viper is gone. On will fall. It's a double kill already for the Kaisa, and Hope has found his moment. It's a triple kill for the AL bot laner, and that will be the full ace for AL. BLG looked like with the Baron they could shut things out, but AL had a glimmer of hope. We're going to a decider.
Does mean Viper will be taking a pretty humble back. Just see that Lee Sin pick up.
Okay.
Keep up with him.
Yeah, we'll see if that build that you mentioned comes in. And one of the biggest synergies that Sejuani has in this game is with Flandre on the Renekton. They already forced a couple of flashes, and they're going to get a stun out of him as well. Bin in severe danger. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's going to be constant aggression across the board. Speaking of, going to be Knight forcing a flash, but in goes Kyle. So a lot of summoner spells being burned in the mid lane, but it results in nobody actually dying. Now Shun going to prompt an invade here onto the second spawn of the Raptors and force Kyle back away. Another hook does land, though, as On might have been caught a little bit out of position. He uses the Magical Journey to escape. A 3v3 around the mid. We just crossed the 5-minute mark. Shun really wanting this camp, able to secure it. Hero's entrance does come out, and Kyle and Tarzan are both knocked up and both ticking dangerously low. Shun picks up that first kill, and BLG finals where Faker just styled all over him on this pick. And since then, it seems like Knight's learned. He's had a pretty good time on this one. We're going to see him have it again as he lands a stun onto Shanks, takes him down, and gives Shun his second...
into the mid lane and shut down the immobile mage. This is the thing about locking in an immobile mage early into a draft, especially where it's that early on. Dying?
We're just praising him. That's a caster curse right there, Melvin, as Hope ends up getting a kill in the bottom lane in his
further 25 range for each 3 marks beyond that. Triforce onto Hope. You want that first items onto Shank. First item onto Shanks. And then we can finally... Oh, that's a bad route.
Gets cancelled here with a Justice Punch. Arcane Storm coming out as well. Don't think this is going to be enough to kill Knight, especially not if he flashes away and allows for Shun to instead be the one to eat up the Dredge line. Glacial Prison potentially going to be issued, and preemptive flash from On will make sure that everyone...
It will just be Tarzan continuing to play the Kindred minigame.
Dominus has been popped. AL have clearly telegraphed their next move, and that is a dive onto Bin on the top side. Knight does have the hero's entrance, going to use it to try to keep Bin alive as he goes between worlds and uses the weirding to chunk Flandre down to half HP. With Knight chasing after him, Flandre...
They do secure that mark for Shun on the Kindred, which is also important. His hold on there as he overstepped potentially.
For more too, and he dives away from the dredge line of Kyle. Protoplasm Harness has been procced, and there's a lot of stuns issued onto Shun. Can they burst him down before the ulti? No! The Lamb's Respite does come out, but it's a big numbers advantage right now in favor of anyone's Legend as they are punishing this invade by BLG. True Shot Barrage going to come out. It takes down a member as the Renekton does fall, and Knight and Bin suddenly are able to make things work in the 2v3 situation. Knight down at 300 HP. Shanks issues the gravity well, but is unable to do a lot more damage onto the Galio, and both sides...
And now we get a skirmish over Dragon. Both junglers are here.
Tempered Fate does delay On's death for a little bit, but it still should happen. And there's the snipe from downtown. Interact there on the top side of the map.
You get very heavy trading into the mid lane. Bot ultimate down.
Speaking of Tempered Fate, it's actually going to land on the Hope, who now is exhausted and taking a lot of damage from the Mystic Shots of Viper. He dashes in and picks up the shutdown onto Hope. And now BLG have a 4v3 in their favor and will take Kyle down. AL, who thought they found an angle here onto Viper. Kyle going with the Hex Flash in, but Viper beautifully buffers.
I understand what we're doing here. Like, that's just incredibly greedy from the bot lane of AL, as we do get a collapse now, looking to try and at least get on.
Yeah, the teleport from Flandre is going to be first. He pops a Dominus on, going to be in some trouble as Tarzan is just fully targeting him in his own right in a 1v1. Knight going to land the Justice Punch on the Flandre, try to peel him out. The hero's entrance going to at least negate a little bit of extra damage. Flandre going to get stunned up by On, who is somehow still alive at the end of the fight. It's going to be the Herald secured by Tarzan, but nobody will be able to claim the eye, as it will be BLG 5 strong trying to take the Sejuani down. True Shot Barrage barely and pulls off a grand escape with the Herald in tow.
What a crazy heist to turn up the end of that play. Thrown away the lead by the AL bot lane, and then is going to be able to finish off.
Point to actually get
that is not a support TP.
The Baron, I should say. Speaking of, are on the top side of the map. It has been and Shanks engaged in a 1v1, and a teleport came in from Knight to try to cut off the rest of anyone's Legends. Flandre now answered the TP of his own, popped to Dominus, and will look to try to engage on to BLG. Tempered Fate going to slow up 3. There goes the Glacial Prison onto Shun, forces him back, and the first kill is on to the Victor, but now it's immediately traded back in a 1-for-1. Tarzan going to get singled out and taken down by 3 members of BLG, and Viper is 1v1ing Hope underneath his own area of the map. True Shot Barrage not going to connect with the weirding. Well, Bin finds the
and a Corki hitting you, it's not going to do much. So really
for that fourth, but great situation for BLG to continue to add to their lead. And Knight might have found another pick. Shanks forced the flash away. He's able to get away from the Tempered Fate, but he had to run in the opposite direction. Will be able to survive for now. A lot of standing gold available on the map.
There's the potential to just take Shanks off the table before he even has a chance to play the game. Been up to that side of the map is your asterisk, but it's a really tough angle for AL to try and get anything done here. Tarzan is stunned up.
Tarzan getting stunned up. He's forced to flash away. Kyle will match with the dredge line of his own. And BLG are just playing bully ball, making sure that AL have no way to get into the Dragon Pit. True Shot Barrage only chunking Flandre out. As Knight,
but that's not what you're picking Nautilus for at the end of the day. You want to be going
those denial abilities from BLG are unable to be chained together and just keep looking for fights like they're going to do so here. They land a stun onto On, and Hope's able to back forward and one-shot the Bard in split 1. But there's still work to be done. Flandre has popped the Dominance. He's looking to get a kill onto Bin, and he uses the ultimate straight into the arms of Tarzan. It's going to be another big pick onto the BLG top laner as he gets in the mid lane. Tarzan trying to clear out vision without knowing really where the rest of BLG stand. And he take a decent chunk of his HP, but he's okay with that. Take a look.
That's just the power of what On and BLG have been doing with vision. they go in. Now there's a lot of attention being played over to Hope.
Flandre TP's in on, looking for a flash engage. That was not the play, as he will get taken down by Hope. The Tempered Fate does land on a 2 to try to slow things down in this current engage. But AL find another massive pick, and this time on is dead as the Baron is up.
Want to start this Baron just
There they go.
Glacial Prism is available. Who
Look
will
at Viper.
Tarzan fish for?
He doesn't know. Flandre is waiting for him. He's going to finally get caught out, but he shifts right into the Renekton's arms. On the other side of things, it is Knight already going golden with the Arcane Storm raining down on the back line of Billy. Here comes the hero, and his name is Knight, and takes Flandre down. And on the other side of things, the 4v2 already has the Land's Respite down. Shouldn't try to buy some time, but it's 2 more kills picked up here for AL. Knight and Viper, the 2 carries, the 2 superstars, trying to save the game for BLG, but it won't happen. A shutdown for the Shanks' Victor, and now it is Knight on the run. Tarzan trying to chase him down on his backup, but he will not be able to save his crash at the same time.
God, it's going to be so difficult to end, though, with the extra tower playing as Bin is
Taki.
looking for an aggressive TP.
Hope! They all know this. In goes Hope! He assassinates Viper on the Ezreal. Knight comes in, but it is far too late, as a double kill has already opened up for the Corki. He'll eventually get dropped, as Bin picks up a big shutdown, but On's already down, and it's only Knight and Bin against 4 members of AL. The might of BLG. Anyone's Legends kept the same roster, and in the new year are going to continue their dominance over BLG.
당연히 항상 우승하고 싶고 노력했죠. 그런 와중에도 피어리스라는 제도가 꼭 연습을 해야 될 챔피언들이 참 많다고 생각하는데 그거에 맞게끔 저희가 좀 시간을 쓰더라도 결국에는 여러 챔피언을 다 좀 숙련도 높게 잘할 수 있게 돕는 게 제 목표인 것 같습니다.
首先目标肯定是想拿下第1。